We all know the standard ways in which a new graphics card is tested: whack everything up to ultra settings, benchmark and compare. But in my GPU reviews of late, and in the RTX 4080 Super test most recently, I've been trying to expand out that testing, looking at a new piece of hardware more holistically. First of all, we examined the idea that the 4080 Super can run the top-tier graphics showcases with full path tracing. And secondly, as per the 4070 Super video, to put more basic functionality to the test with a matched head-to-head with the PlayStation 5 in areas where we can quote-unquote benchmark the console. With PlayStation 5 effectively the baseline for AAA development, it's interesting to see just how much raw performance you get from 4080 Super in like-for-like testing scenarios. Kicking off with a Plague Tale Requiem, 4080 Super delivers a 2.8 times performance multiplier up against the PS5, rising to 3.2x if you swap out Asobo's upscaler for DLSS quality mode, which is using the same internal resolution. FrameGen increases that multiplier to 3.9x. I mean, the game looks great, of course, but you have the headroom for ramping up features like engaging RT shadows or improved upscaling quality levels or even native res. I also looked at 7900 XTX. No FSR2 support here, so we can only judge on a like-for-like basis. A 3.1x boost over PS5 on match settings, and on that same basis we're essentially 10% faster than 4080 Super. Here's an area of Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty I found where we have a fixed resolution on PS5 and a failure to meet the 30 FPS performance target. This is RT mode with FSR2 upscaling and local RT shadows. Pretty much straight 3 times performance multiplier with 4080 Super, rising to 3.2x if you swap out FSR2 quality mode for its DLSS equivalent. Slap FrameGen on top of that, we are now at a 4.3 times frame rate multiplier in this scene. Swapping in the XTX on a like-for-like basis with PS5, 2.5 times increase in performance. Lower than Plague Tale, but remember we have RT on here, not the strongest suit for RDNA 3. But really, if you're dropping $1,000 on a GPU, possibly you want the full fat experience, right? So let's look at path-traced Cyberpunk RT Overdrive in the challenging Cherry Blossom Marketplace. 4080 Super plays 4090, both with performance mode upscaling, ray reconstruction and FrameGen active. 7900 XTX is along for the ride on FSR2 performance mode, though obviously it has no ray reconstruction or FrameGen capabilities. So we're stuck in 20 FPS territory. 4080 is on a 78.6 FPS average in this run, but 4090 is a remarkable 32 points clear across the run at 104 FPS. So yes, fully path-traced Cyberpunk is viable on the 4080 for sure at 4K. Alan Wake 2 next, and we'll follow a similar pattern with our testing. This point in the forest during Chapter 2 causes frame rate drops on PlayStation 5 just under its 30 FPS cap, so we can get an indicative view of how much faster 4080 Super and 7900 XTX are. We have a tight lock on match settings here, finding that 4080 Super 3 times faster overall, rising to 3.1x when we swap out FSR2 balance mode for its DLSS equivalent. There's FrameGen 2 of course, which in combination with DLSS upscaling gives us a 4.2 times boost. 7900 XTX can be tested at fully matched PS5 settings, and there we get an excellent 3.2x multiplier. It's around 6 points clear of 4080 Super like for like though, but obviously 4080 Super has more options. But what about path tracing then? Again, Nvidia has the advantage of FrameGen and ray reconstruction along with improved image quality via DLSS spatial upscaling. But here's how the three-way looks. A 70.6 FPS average on the 4080 Super, almost forgot the Super there, rising to 94.4 FPS on 4090, a nigh on 34-point increase. The frame rate on 4080 is fine, but latency is noticeable to the point where I'd consider tweaks to resolution down to 1800p, or perhaps a move to optimize settings to boost performance and lower lag. But if you want all the bling at reconstructed 4K, there it is. XTX is only at 20 FPS, but clearly these path-traced titles aren't built for AMD. I don't want you to think that a poor experience is all you can get with this game. Path tracing is beautiful, but medium settings is essentially PS5 quality mode, a design target for Remedy in looking great. And if you switch to those settings, we're up to a 108 FPS average and it's still stunning with plenty of overhead available if you want to increase settings still further. So that's 2 out of our 3 titles from our best game graphics of 2023. Now how about the winner? Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, an AMD-sponsored title no less. The settings don't give much away, but hardware ray tracing is used in this game. I'm using 4K DLSS quality mode on NVIDIA and AMD FSR2 quality mode on the XTX. Frame gen via FSR3 is available, but even without, it's still looking highly performant on this class of hardware. An 87 FPS average on 4080 Super, rising to 117 FPS on the 4090, another 34-point boost. XTX is at a 74 FPS average, so trailing the pack but still offering 85% of the 4080 Super's performance, and obviously highly viable for a 4K experience. So, dropping $1,000 on a GPU does open up all of those top-end experiences with no visual compromises, or very few. 4090 still outpaces 4080 Super by a good third though, but at least the 4080 Super is proportionately better value. Gotta say though, we can't ignore that even 4070 Super at 600 of your US bucks can still run those games and they still look good. You just need to accept a certain level of compromise. Still, that's the end of this video, so please do like, subscribe, share and ring the bell for whatever random prompts may or may not appear on your phone. A DF supporter program, join us for access to our amazing community, high quality video downloads, early access to DF Direct Weekly and other content, plus regular behind the scenes updates from the team. Oh yeah, and store.digitalfoundry.net. Check that out for a look at our range of quality merchandising. But that's all from me for now. Thanks as ever for watching and supporting Digital Foundry.